What's up, you guys? You know the routine by now. I got a proposition for you. UFC Vegas 97 is taking place this upcoming Saturday. Let's go over some prop bets for all you degenerates that like those types of plays. We'll be talking over-unders, KO props, sub-props, a little bit of it all in this episode. If you want my full prediction video for this card, that's already been uploaded. So if you guys want to hear me just talk about every single fight, that's already here on the channel. This is the prop edition, and I'm going to throw about 4 prop bets towards your guys' way in this video here. So great to have some UFC action taking place this upcoming Saturday. We had the week break in time. Of course, Dana White's Contender Series is keeping us busy anyway. How about that knockout, that plus 800 underdog knockout? And the females flyweight division. Woo, what are the odds of that? If you guys saw that last night, comment below. That was wild. Great episode last night. We're filming this Wednesday morning, and I won't hold you guys up. We're going to dive right into the first fight I want to talk about here. But if you can, just real quick, just like this video for me and subscribe. It means a lot to me. This way I know you like this type of content. If you like these prop videos, like this video so I know, so I can continue to deliver these. If you want my official plays for this event, I have an 8-unit max play for this event. Okay, those are rare. I really like the target. I have some big units out for this card. If you want those, reach out to me for further details. I got my IG and Twitter listed below. You can shoot me a DM. Go follow me while you're there. Shoot me an email if you want. If you don't have any social media, if you're an old timer that's using the old email still, shoot me an email. And if anybody's looking for a new sports book and you want to start off juiced up, remember, if you sign up through the link in the description of this video, you'll get a 125% match on your first 3 deposits to BETUS. Make sure you let me know if you make that deposit, because I have a gift for you guys. Okay, guys, I want to give you an additional gift. Don't forget to let me know if you sign up through that link. All right, let's go jump into the first fight I want to talk about.
The teller.
So for you guys that like those real juicy type of odds, stick with me through this, because I'm going to throw a couple out there for you. Andre Petroski is taking on Dylan Bucka, a.k.a. Dylan Butkus, as I like to call him. For some reason, that's just the name that sticks out to me there. Maybe because I'm a football guy. Dick Butkus. Gotta love that name there. Dylan Bucka, I've been a little harsh on him. If you guys caught my full prediction video, I'm not really sure he's a UFC caliber fighter. Okay, he's a fighter that supposedly has the wrestling in his back pocket and whatnot, but we saw in his last fight against Cesar Almeida, wasn't able to do anything with that there. I'm not really that high on his grappling. Okay, I think he's decent there, but I think Andre Petroski's better anywhere this fight goes, specifically even down on the mat. I think when you mix in his wrestling caliber, but also mixed in with the jiu-jitsu skills that he has, I think he's going to be a step ahead of Dylan Bucka. So I don't see Bucka taking advantage of anything down there. And then on the feet, I think that Andre Petroski is going to have an opportunity here to showcase the growth of his overall game. And he does throw some heat on the feet at times. He has some pretty good power. And, I got Petroski winning this fight. Okay, he's a decent favorite here. But the prop bets that we're going to be looking at, let's go take a look. First and foremost, if you want to play it a little safer, on BETUS right now, the under 2.5 rounds is at plus 150. Got a nice plus sign there. I think that Petroski is going to find the finish in this fight. I'm leaning towards that way. So getting the plus 150, I like that there. Obviously, if you're targeting the under 2.5, if something fluky were to happen the other way, obviously you would still cash there. Petroski is a fighter that's been finished in all 4 of his losses. So if he's losing this fight somehow, maybe he gets finished. Also note, Bucka's been knocked out and subbed in his 3 losses, right? He's lost every single way: decision, sub, KO. The majority of his losses coming by way of finish. And I think Petroski can find a sub in this fight. So if you want to dive into some better type of lines, first off, Petroski to win inside the distance, you could jump that up to like a plus 215. It's around there. If you want to target Petroski for the KO, it's a plus 700. Okay, so if you want those real juicy odds, that's what you're targeting there. Okay, and then if you maybe want to play it a little bit safer, for some reason the sub is what's sticking out to me. You should be able to shop that line right around plus 400. Okay, on the sub. I think that's the most likely finish for Petroski. Petroski has some nasty subs, man. 5 of his 11 victories coming by way of sub. How can you forget the performance that he had against Nick Maximov, who's actually more of a grappling-based fighter? That was a nasty finish that he had with just within 1 minute and 16 seconds, pulled off that anaconda choke. He's a fighter that's regular on the grappling scene. And I think that he could find a sub here. I do. So those are some lines that you might want to go fish if you're looking for some nice plus odds in regards to this fight. In the women's strawweight division, we have Jacqueline Imorum taking on Vanessa Demopoulos. This is going to be an interesting play I'm going to throw your guys' way, because I definitely see you guys online all the time. No offense, but some of you amateurs always screaming about, oh yeah, you just always got to bet the overs on the women's fights. That's all you got to do. Just always take the over 1.5 or take the fight to go the distance. I mean, yeah, I mean, that sounds nice theoretically, but you have to understand the lines that are typically out there are ridiculous. So, I mean, if you're going to target those -700s and -500s every single fight for these women's fights here, especially like in the strawweight division, the lowest weight class in the sport, okay, you could do that. But I mean, if you do that fight to fight, again, I mean, you're chasing crazy chalk. However, if there's a time to do that, maybe this is the time to do that, because if you we're going to get to the line here in a second, but obviously Jacqueline Imorum is a fighter that has some nasty jiu-jitsu. Okay, there's no question about that. Coming off a first-round finish over Corey McKenna, she showcased the grappling skills she has, pulled off that armbar. She's been a fighter that's been highly regarded coming into MMA based off her jiu-jitsu, a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt. Also had a knockout finish in her fight before that against Montserrat Ruiz. So, I mean, on the regional scene, finishing every single fight she's had. She's only gone to a decision one time, right? And but on the other hand, right, Vanessa Demopoulos is a fighter that's never been finished, okay? You take a look at her 5 losses, all have come by way of decision. She is a talented BJJ player, okay? So she knows how to defend those subs. I think that she can survive this fight. I think that she could have this fight playing out similar to some of her more recent fights, where she's just, keeping it standing at times, throwing out her sloppy striking. I do have Jacqueline Imorum winning this fight, but I wouldn't be shocked if it played out a little bit closer than maybe some expect, because Imorum is a pretty big favorite, right? We take a look at the betting line here. Imorum right now is a -315 BETUS. She did open up as a -400, so the line trending the other way. But the thing we're talking about here is, I think that this is one of those spots where you probably want to target the over. On BETUS right now, the over 2.5 rounds is set at -210. If you want to just play it even a little safer, fight to go the distance at -190, it's still kind of a higher line, but compared to what you're normally seeing for women's strawweight bouts, you're usually seeing much more steep prices there. So I think there's actually some value. I think this fight goes the distance. I don't think that Jacqueline's going to find that sub. I think Demopoulos is going to be able to defend, and I think that Jacqueline Imorum does enough to win a decision, but that's a spot there where you might want to target that over on a women's strawweight bout. In the light heavyweight division, this fight has been having a little bit of buzz around it, right, leading up to this card. One of the more interesting fights, just because both of these guys hit and miss type of performances. OSP's 41 years old now. Ryan Spann's been on a little bit of a tough skid, but prior to that, he's had some big performances too. He is a fight finisher. He's 33 years old. Obviously, Spann has a lot more to give here. This isn't one of my most confident plays, but I do want to throw this one out here. I want to have this on record. I do like the under 1.5 that's at -145 for this fight. I mean, you take a look at what these fighters do. Ryan Spann is a fight finisher, man. And if he's not getting the finish, he's getting finished often as well. In his last 3 fights, he lost 2 of them. He got subbed and KO'd. We know that OSP is live for that counter shot, even at 41 years old. He's still a danger striker up in this weight class. Before those losses, he had 2 finishes in his own right in the first round, finishing Dominic Reyes and Ian Cutelaba. He also lost in the first round before that. To Anthony Smith, he lost in the first round. So a lot of early finishes going on here. I mean, we can keep running the table here. He had a victory before that against Misha Serkinov, where he had a knockout in 1 minute and 11 seconds. Then he had a knockout loss to Johnny Walker that took place just over 2 minutes. A lot of early finishes going on one way or the other in regards to Ryan Spann. We know that he has questionable cardio. He's kind of a front runner, and he may get his own knockout, but if he doesn't, he also may be put in a situation where he's finished. OSP, you could take a look at what he's been doing as of recently, and he did have the decision win against Kennedy and Shekawu recently, which was a crazy upset victory. Before that, knocked out in the first round by Felipe Lins. I mean, you scroll down through his resume, knocked out by Tanner Bozier and Jamal Hill, both in the second round, getting close to that 1.5 mark. But, Ryan Spann's going to come out heavy. And I think that this fight can go a variety of ways. I'm not really in agreement, as you guys know, with the betting line on Ryan Spann at minus 335. I think that OSP is more live than that line says. Like, when we're talking about the under here, I think it can almost come either way. I do think it's more likely that Spann comes out, maybe lands something big, but be wary of the counter from OSP. But I like the under. I like the under 1.5 at minus 145. I have a feeling that these guys go at it in the first round and we see a finish. I hope that's the case. But not one of my most confident plays that we're talking about in this video, but keep an eye on that. So you boys know it is peak week. All right, guys, how about getting the cross share with Trevor Peak? We collaborated on a post there. If you guys haven't checked it out, go to Instagram, MMA Fortune Teller _. I got a kick out of it myself. You guys got to check the tunes that are flowing with Trevor Peak. But you guys know, man, he's a character. And when you're talking about fighting spirit, I think Trevor Peak is at the top of the game. This dude is just, he's so fun to watch. He goes out there, he's kill or be killed, but never really being killed, man. This guy has a granite chin, literally and figuratively. I mean, look at this dude's chin. He's a very tough fighter. But if we're being honest, he is lacking defensively. We do know that. He gets sloppy, especially as the fight progresses. Yanal Ashmaz is a fighter that had a stellar knockout in his UFC debut against Sam Patterson, who's actually a fighter that's looking pretty good. He caught him early on in that fight. So we've seen that Ashmaz is a little bit of a sniper. I'm not really high on, I think that he's going to prove to be a lower level fighter. I think he kind of snuck one out there, but we still understand that he has some power. He does throw a lot of power into his strikes. Maybe he can catch Trevor Peak and finally get the finish, but that's not what we're talking about here. I think that it's more likely that Trevor Peak can get a knockout in this fight. I mean, this guy is going to be throwing the kitchen sink at Yanal Ashmaz. Ashmaz has never been finished, but Peak has had 8 knockouts out of his 9 victories. That's what he's going to go out there and look to do. So if you're targeting Trevor Peak on the knockout here, he's literally going to go out there and try to make that happen for you with all of his heart. He's not going out there to sneak off a decision, okay? So that's the one good thing you have going for him there. And like I said, if he gets sloppy, maybe he finally gets caught and we see him finish. I mean, I wouldn't bank on that though. He's tough, but I'll tell you a couple plays that I think they're interesting for this fight here. We take a look at the under 2.5 rounds at plus odds. I'm banking more so that Peak can get that knockout, and boy, would it be fun if he does. I mean, that's a fun play to kind of root for there, but you're getting a plus sign next to it as well. I'm going to say we see the under. It's going to be a crazy pace. It could be a finish in a variety of ways. Maybe one of these guys breaks. Again, talking more about Yanal Ashmaz. Maybe he breaks due to the pace of Trevor Peak, but this is going to be a crazy one. So even though these guys have never been knocked out or finished, I mean, just keep an eye on that. There's a first for everything. You're getting plus odds there. You also might want to target Peak to win via TKO, which you can catch as high as plus 275 right now. Okay, he's going to go out there and hunt that KO for you. And I mean, it's peak week, boys. It's peak week. All right, guys. So just understand that we had to talk about that play. All right. If you're not respecting peak week, I don't know what to tell you guys. You're not my type of dude.
Michael Vick here at BetUS.com. Get it all. Huge bonuses, great odds, a race book, live in-game betting, and a casino. BetUS, my online sports book and casino.
And then I got one more for you guys. Okay. This is going to piggyback off a play that we talked about earlier on in this video. Jessica Andrade taking on Natalia Silva. You guys know I'm very high in Silva. I think that she's the truth. Cannot wait to see how far she could push it. And I love the test that she's getting here. Andrade is still 32 years old. Pretty much already proven to be a Hall of Famer, if you ask me. I think she's a bona fide Hall of Famer. We could talk about her in that light. She's a stud, okay, but she's lacking in some regard when she's in the cage, if we're being honest there. I mean, she kind of headhunts at times, or she throws a lot of power into her shots. If she doesn't find that knockout, I really do see Natalia Silva kind of touching her up here. I think Natalia Silva is also going to be able to keep standing for the most part. I don't think Andrade is going to be able to hold her down. Natalia Silva's been showcasing like over a 90% takedown defensive rate in the octagon, even early on in her UFC career. She's only 27 now. I mean, she was even very young at the time, taking on Jasmine, just a Vicious, and that was a fight where she was stuffing the takedown left and right. And Jasmine's proving to be a fighter that could really break you with her pace and grappling. And I just think that Natalia's obviously even a sharper fighter now than she was then. I think she keeps this fight standing. I think that she's going to be piecing up Jessica Andrade. I don't think Andrade is going to find that big knockout shot. Although, got to be a little wary there because Silva keeps her hands a little low. But I think that she stays out of danger there. And I think that this fight is going to go to the scorecards, which, again, we talked about this earlier. Some of you guys that love to target those types of plays, if you love to target those types of plays, this is the kind of fight you want to target it, because you're getting a good line, right? The over 2.5 rounds on BetUS right now, it opened up at -160. It's now -175. Those are reasonable lines to target a women's bout to go the distance, or to go the over 1.5 or 2.5, whatever you're targeting there. You're not coughing up -500, 600, where you're not getting any value. This is kind of a target you want to go for there. Andrade is a very tough fighter. I think that she should be able to eat a lot of what Silva throws, and I think Silva just pieces her up. But I'm going to say we see Andrade bloodied up and are just kind of battered a little bit, and she may land her own damage, but it makes it to the final bell. So that's a play I like there. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up UFC Vegas 97 prop edition. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know, out of all the props I just threw out there to you guys, which one do you like the most? Tell me if you don't like any of them. Tell me what prop bets you guys like. I would love to get some feedback from you guys. I want to know what's the prop bets that you guys are targeting. I want to see if one really stands out and everyone's in agreement on that. Maybe I'll tail you guys. Please comment below, guys. Hit that like button before you leave. Subscribe. Appreciate you guys. Signing out. Don't forget, I got an 8-unit maxer for this card. Teller.
The teller.